I hate hospices. Stop teasing me. I'm on a schedule. I hate death metal. I don't want my name attached to that shit. And I really hate the saying, death comes for us all eventually. Because although it's true, it does make me sound like a bit of a slut. But to answer your question, yes, I did stop using the scythe when I realised it made me look short.
Meet deaf.
I'm deaf.
And no, he doesn't mean hard of hearing.
And no, I don't mean hard of hearing. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
On a typical day, death transports 150,000 souls to the afterlife. Out of those 150,000, a whopping 96% of those go to heaven, whereas the remaining 4% are British.
What's the usual reaction people have to seeing me? Usually they go, no, no, and I go, yeah, yeah, and they go, no, no, and I go, yeah, yeah, and they go, no. That point I slap them and I say, look, if you didn't want to see me, you shouldn't have fucking hung yourself.
Throughout history, death has been depicted a fuck ton in art and literature. Despite this, only one artist has correctly personified death, Neil Buchanan from Art Attack. Death claims he cannot wait for Neil to drop dead, purely so he can see the look on his quote-unquote cheeky face when he realises he quote-unquote, again, nailed it.
No, I've no idea what heaven and hell's like. I've never been in. That's like your Uber driver dropping you off after a night out, but then following you into your home. That's all I am, really. An Uber driver, but with a very, very final destination.
Death claims that the passage between the world of the living and the afterlife resembles that of the M6 motorway, with a little hint of My Chemical Romance. When asked if there was any service stations along the passage, Death just smiled. 5 seconds later, he stopped smiling. 5 seconds after that, he began to cry. I took this as meaning, no, there are no service stations upon the passage. However, there are a handful of little chefs.
In my spare time, I like to star in TV shows and movies. I was in Titanic, I played Death. I was in The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, I played Death. I was most recently in The Queen's Gambit. I was a pawn and deaf. I killed a mum twice. That's a spoiler. Cut that. Make sure you... Oh, hey, someone's got COVID. Hey, come on, you're coming with me. I'm joking. You've quite evidently got 3 years left. Oh, you didn't. You didn't know? Yeah, I can smell the terminal on you. If I were you, I'd get that growth on your left thigh checked out.
I asked Death if he was fond of the nickname Grim Reaper, to which he said no, because the name Grim reminds him of the word grim, which reminds him of the meaning of the word grim, which in essence is reet not nice. I then told him that maybe if he smiled more, they would have called him the Grin Reaper. If he wasn't smiling already, then he definitely wasn't now.
Hey, I tell you did wind me up. Jesus, I'm dead. Oh my god, no I'm not. Christ, what a waste of a trip. And I've still not forgiven him for the Crusades, because there's working overtime, and then there's working overtime. Hey JC, if you're watching this, you're a cheeky little piss taker, and you owe me £5.
Death told me that on a handful of occasions, he's been too hungover to carry out his work duties, which is why we sometimes have ghosts, ghouls, and Prince Philip. In other words, get rid of one spirit, glug glug, and another spirit takes its place.
How did I land this job? I went to the job centre, and died. So the guy who had the job before me, also called Death, he came to take me to hell, you know, because I'm a little bit British. And on the way there he goes, hang on, haven't we already passed this, little chef? We were lost.
We're using a boom mic.
We were. And so I goes, it's this way. And he goes, how do you know? And so I goes, and hey, I'll always remember this. What was it now? And so I goes, I just... do. So he took his robes off, not in a rapey way, and he handed them to me and said, you do a much better job than I'd ever do. Plus this job shit, I don't want it anymore. And fun fact, he then went on to become the host of Pointless. Nah, I'm joking. My dad got me this job. Surprisingly, the afterlife is a very nepotistic industry.
I learned a lot from my interview with Death, which just goes to show sometimes overdosing on Calpol does have its benefits, because without it, I wouldn't have had this near-death experience. Kane Unable for Rice Documentaries, signing off.